Hey guys, Buddy Valastro here with my good friend Fred, and we're so excited to be part of the New York Pizza Festival Home Edition.
Yeah, so this is going to kick off on April 24th and 25th, and it's the first time we're doing a virtual festival. We've done it live in the Bronx.
I know, and it's a great festival live, but we're going to make it special virtual.
And especially now because we have Buddy entering the pizza world. You've obviously always had your hands in flour and water, but what brought you to pizza?
Well, Fred, I gotta tell you, my favorite food on the planet is pizza. I've always had a love with pizza my whole life, and being a baker, we play in doughs, right? You know, yeast doughs that rise and stuff, different stuff like that. But my father-in-law owned a pizzeria for like 30 years here in New Jersey, and when I was dating my wife years ago, on a Friday night when I was done at work, he was always busy on Friday night, so I would go from the bakery and then I would help in the pizzeria, and that's where I learned how to actually toss a dough and make pizza for the first time. And now, from my perspective, I said, you know, my favorite two things in the world are pizza and cake. So I came up with a new concept, which I opened in Vegas, called Pizza Cake. And it was funny because I said to my wife, you know, I don't know what to call it. And she's like, well, what are you going to serve? I said, just pizza and cake. And I kept going back to it. So it's called Pizza Cake. It's right on the Strip in Las Vegas. It's great New York style slices of pizza and cake. And, you know, we actually developed the dough recipe. When we did Pizza Cake, we worked with my father-in-law, we worked with our good friend Julio, pizza master, and we developed like 6 months of, do we do a pull wash, do we do a this, do we do a that, and we went back and forth and came up with what I consider the perfect iteration of pizza dough. Because for me, it's gotta be New York style, but it's gotta be light and airy, right? You don't want it to have a flop, but you know, it can't be too crispy either, because then it's, you know, it's burnt. Like, it's got to be just the right amount of air pockets. It's got to be light. It's got to be fluffy. And I think that's the real secret to pizza. What I've learned through this whole process is everything in proportion. The thickness of the dough to the balance of the sauce to the amount of cheese. Because, you know, if you put too much cheese, then the pizza's soggy.
Simple,
you know,
simple good ingredients.
Simple good ingredients made from the heart. And I got to tell you, I'm just loving pizza right now.
That's awesome. And I know you've even taken it a whole step further. And
we did.
We'll get to that.
We're going to get to that in a little bit. Yeah.
But I know you're going to make pizza now, and you're going to show everybody how they can do it at home.
Yeah, I want to show you guys a very simple dough recipe that's, you know, just easy. You could do it at a KitchenAid. You don't have to drive yourself crazy, and everybody's going to love it. So let me get my mixer. Okay. So we're going to put a dough hook on. Okay. A lot of things too. I've learned a lot about fermentation in dough that really makes things, you know, the fermentation of the dough, to me, the longer it can ferment, the more of that natural flavor it gets. You know, so you're actually putting a little less yeast in the beginning, but you're letting it ferment or rise for a couple days. You know, and there's different ways of doing it, through a pull wash, through a mother yeast, through, you know, just time. So it's really a matter of what you want to do. All right, I got my water here. All right, so I'm going to start with my water. So I'm going to put my water first on the bottom. And again, I have the exact measurements. Usually we're doing 150 pounds of flour. So somebody else cut it down to cups for me. So don't bear with me here. Okay, I'm going to put our yeast. We're using a dry yeast. Could you use a fresh yeast? 100%. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit of salt. All. I'm going to put the salt in. I'm going to put a little bit of the, so now we're going to put the flour in. And we're going to use Caputo flour here from Italy. This is a great flour. Okay, now we're going to bring this up. We're going to let this rip. Well, I would say like maybe speed 3. I'm going to let this mix for maybe 2 minutes till it's all combined together. When it's at the end, we're going to put the oil. The secret to great pizza is simple, magnificent ingredients. Starting with good flour, going into delicious tomatoes, and using the best cheese. If you balance those 3 things together, it's a symphony in your mouth. So now I'm going to finish the oil. Okay, so now that I got my dough all done, what I'm going to do, so this recipe I gave you guys today is the same dough day recipe, right? Which means you can make it and bake it on the same day. The more you adventure into pizza and the more you learn a little bit more about fermentation, the more you can play around. But I give you a recipe that you can do in a day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dough rest in the bowl. I'm going to put a little damp towel over it, and I'm going to let this rest for about 2.5 to 3 hours. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to weigh it out to say 8-ounce pieces, and then we're going to knead it into dough balls, and then we're going to let it rest for another hour. And then while that is resting, that last hour, that's where I think that you raise your pizza oven as high as you can. That's the trick. High heat. If the pizza oven is hot, when that pizza goes in, you get that perfect crisp on the bottom, and that's what you're looking for. So that last hour, crank your oven, get it smoking hot, ready to go. Then you're gonna roll out your pizza, right? And then you're gonna bake it, and it's gonna be forget about it. So now that my dough ball has risen for about an hour, I'm going to take it and I put it into the flour, and then I put it in the flour, and I do it again. I make like a little mountain, all right? And then I'm going to just kind of make like a crust. I kind of like to do it with my fingers. Okay, and then we're going to start to open it. And again, it's about having it on your knuckles. I'm not a pizza master now, so don't judge me. But if I make you a pizza, I bet you it's going to taste good. Okay, let's see. I like to just feel, make sure I got it nice, and I'm going to go a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of flour. I always like to wipe it and then just wipe a little bit off so it's not so bad. And then again, if you're not a perfect pizza maker, which I'm far from, you finish it on the board, right? You open it up a little here. You just try to make it nice and even. And I always like to draw a little circle on your peel, so you get like a round board that's perfect, so that you have a nice perfect pizza. You know, for anybody who doesn't do it every single day, this is going to make you a better pizza maker. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to put some delicious tomatoes. So again, this is just a crushed tomato, right? Good Italian tomato, delicious. And I just added a little bit of salt. you do it to flavor. You know, sometimes it needs a little more, but you shouldn't have to add sugar because it should already have a natural sweetness if it's a good tomato. So I'm gonna put a little bit here, and a little bit more. I'm gonna use a spoon here, just kind of go around. La la la, delicious at pizza. I love to make it delicious at pizza. There's nothing better than getting a, even bad pizza's not that bad. You know, I mean, pizza's like one of those things that even bad pizza's like, all right, you know what? I'll eat a pizza. That was always my safe food. Like when I went to different places, I would always say, you know what, just get pizza, because even bad pizza's not that bad. And then we're gonna finish it with some fresh, with some mozzarella. Now again, with the mozzarella, a lot of people sometimes think that, oh, you don't want to put too much because you're being cheap. It's not about being cheap. It's about the balance, right? If you're not seeing enough tomato through there, then it's going to steam and your dough is going to stay soggy. So you just want to put just the right amount of cheese on it, right? That looks about right. Perfect. Maybe just a little bit more there. And give your pizza a little shake right before you start. See how you know it's going to come off the peel? And it's ready for the oven. All right. Look at that pizza, Fred. What do you think?
That looks delicious.
Not bad for a baker, right?
Not bad for a baker.
All right, let's see how we did.
Wow. It's amazing, I think you can do this right in your house.
That's right. Beautiful. Ready to rock and roll. So this is an easy recipe. It's something I want people to try at home. You can't be afraid of cooking or baking, because you got to practice to make perfect. And you know, actually, speaking of practice, we actually did a lot of practice. And I'd like to call my friend Giulio in here. Giulio, come on in. Because me and Giulio are pizza fanatics. You know this guy, right?
I know this guy very well.
All right.
How are you?
So Giulio's a pizza master who really helped me understand the potential in pizza. And what I mean by that is, like, by the different poulashes, the fermentation processes, all the different steps. Yeah. I didn't really know it the way that he showed me how to do it. And then combining together what we know, I think that we come up with some good stuff.
Something special.
Yeah, so this is the newest thing that we launched here at Carlo's Bakery. It's our frozen pizzas. And me and Giulio came up with these designs. We actually got 4 flavors. And if you notice, right?
So if I don't want to make it at home.
If you don't want to make it at home, you could order it online. But if you notice, we made it, you see it's a little floppy right now. But there's a reason why. Because you got to take this, you got to put your oven on 400 at home. You're going to put it on the middle rack directly, take it out of the plastic, of course. I've had some people ask that.
And it shows up frozen.
And it shows up frozen. And then you are going to get the most delicious, crisp, New York style, off the charts. I mean, look at the char marks on that. These pizzas are cooked to perfection, ready to go. We really spent months developing to say, okay, how much do we cook it? What's the hydration of the dough? It's just not like we made pizza and we made it frozen. We thought through all the steps of how we have to make it and manufacture it here, but what you, the end user, is going to do.
So you really took this dive first into pizza cake, and
then we took it into here.
Right to the homes also?
Yeah, and honestly, not because it's ours, but anybody who's tasted it.
I've tried it, buddy. It's excellent.
No, and you know, you would not tell that it is a frozen pizza.
Yeah.
And that's really what the trick is. And you know, look, I'm passionate about pizza. I'm passionate about food. I'm passionate about family. So this is kind of what we do.
Fantastic.
That's a good pizza.
That's a good pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The dough, the sauce, the cheese. Mwah!
Balance.
Perfect. How I do?
Very good.
This guy taught me, you know,
Very, very good.
my pizza
I'm
skills.
impressed.
Not bad.
Very impressed.
I remember my hands
Yeah.
was not as good as it was, you know, so that was with a bad hand, so not bad. I hope you guys enjoy the pizza festival. We'll see you next year.